What is up, guys? How's it going? What's up, chat? What's up, Wing Chun boys? How's it going? Hey, Big D. Big D. Nice of you to join. Greek Yogurt. How's it going? What's up, Bravehorn? Nice of you to join. Von Fartage 28 Gaming. Yes. What's up, Hope? Glad you're here. Hey, Peepzilla. Hey, Joshua. How's it going? Hey, Cheetah Knight. You're here on time. You are. I might not be on time, but you are on time. Hey, Katie. How's it going? Glad you could join. What's up, Darth Claire? Hey, Losh. I'm not late. You're late. What's up, David? I'm practicing my karaoke voice. Yes. Yes, I am. Okay. What's up, Asher? How's it going? Jillian, how's it going? You know, if I was a better marketer, you know, I have cups. Like, I sell merch cups, right? Maybe I should use one of my cups and not just generic ones. If I was a better marketer, but I'm not. What's up, Squee? How's it going? Before we start, have you guys been watching The Boys? Do you guys know what that is? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's a TV show. It's called The Boys. I just finished the 3rd season. Oh my god. If you haven't watched it, like, it's really good. It's so much blood. Yeah. Hell yeah. It's a superhero show, but it kind of subverts the superhero genre, which I think has been done before, but this show does it really good. It does it really well. So it's like superheroes, but you know, it's like if you gave normal people just superpowers, right? What would happen? It would be a fucking disaster, right? So this is what happens in the show. Yeah, so the superheroes are not really heroes. They're like normal people. They're good guys or bad guys. The public thinks superheroes are really good. They're actual superheroes, but you know, a lot of these guys are just normal dudes, right? Or a lot of these heroes are just normal heroes, and they have their own human vices and stuff like that. It's so good. Yeah, and it's realistic in that, like, when you have a superhero battle, a battle between two superheroes, like, you don't want to be anywhere close, right? Because it's just mass destruction, right? So if you're anywhere close, they'll just destroy you without even knowing it, right? In the middle of the fight, you get in the way, you just get destroyed. Okay, yeah, you don't see that a lot in superhero shows. If you had powers, you feel like you would laugh while the earth burns. Yeah, and then, yeah, and the premise is that so there are these superheroes that are actually pretty bad people, and then there's this group called the Boys, okay, and they don't have superpowers. They don't have any powers, okay, but their mission is to kill superheroes, okay, to kill the superheroes. Yeah, but they don't have any superpowers, so they have to like figure out clever ways to kill these superheroes. It's so good. It's so good. And the main bad guy, I won't spoil anything, but the main bad guy is terrifying. There are a lot of shows. It's hard to make terrifying, like scary bad guys these days because we're used to a lot of things. Right? We've seen a lot of shows and movies before. But this main bad guy is actually terrifying. Like whenever he's on screen, you feel suspense. Like he's unpredictable. He's smart. He's strong. Everyone around him fears him. It's so good. Yeah, it's called The Boys. They're super zeros. Yeah, they're superheroes, okay? So they kind of see humans as like nothing, right? So sometimes they'll be in a fight and they'll accidentally kill someone, collateral damage, and they don't even care. Or they won't even know. They'll be in the middle of fighting. They won't even know if they killed you, a civilian. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm into these days. Such a good show. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Why are they called superheroes if they are bad? Well, the world thinks they are superheroes. So the world, like civilians, don't know. Okay. Yeah, but watch it. Anyways, all right. Do we? Okay, 608. I'm getting pretty good at this. Okay, getting pretty good at this. Ooh. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. $609. Okay, we'll do this in 2 minutes. Start with the usual. The usual. Okay, not bad. Not bad. OE. OE. Pure? Piotr? Piotr? How about epic? Epic? That could be. E-O Expo. Exopt. Exomt. Exopt? P has to be here then. All right. Elope. 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 P. Oh, so good. Guys. All right, what are we doing? Oh yeah, South America quiz. Okay. What did we get last time on this? Does anyone remember? Was it like 70 something percent? We're going for 90? Going for 90? Okay. Oh, I forgot everything. Where's Bolivia? It was 81%? Okay. Okay. All right. This first one doesn't count. Colombia. Oh, God. Brazil. Paraguay. Wow. Stop. Peru. Ecuador. Fuck. How do you even pronounce this? Suriname. Uruguay. Venezuela. Guyana. Oh, God. Okay. We slid back. Now we're doing 90%, okay? I think we can I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Fuck. Where's Ecuador again? Is it this? No. This is Bolivia, right? Ecuador is here? No. This is Colombia. This? Damn. Colombia. Uruguay is where? Here, right? Ooh, Suriname. Bolivia is this one. Brazil, French Guiana. Paraguay, Venezuela, Guyana, Peru, Chile. Oh, guys, we got it. All right, the first round was a little questionable. Okay, but we got it. Your 9-year-old says I'm turning evil because I said the F word. Did I say the F word? Oh, I don't even know. Okay. All right. Next week is the final boss. Africa. Not gonna lie, I know like 4 or 5 countries in Africa. I know the locations of like 4 countries. But next week. Oh, you guys know what would be cool? Oh, want to try something? How well can you tell Asian faces? I think I can tell it pretty well. Okay. Someone said I should do this on stream. Okay. So try with me. Try with me. So you're supposed to guess the Asian. Wait. How do I click on it? Oh, start? Okay. All right. You ready? I happen to think that I'm pretty good at this. Okay. I'm pretty good. But we'll see. The clothing. I don't think the clothing counts. I don't think we should be misled by the clothing. I think you should only look at the face. That being said, her clothing looks very Chinese. I'm gonna have to say Chinese. Right? Chinese? Chinese. Okay. Okay, good. If that was wrong, then I'm just gonna quit. I don't think he's Korean, right? The eyes are kind of Korean. I don't think he's Vietnamese. He's got to be Korean. Okay. 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 His smile is way too big. I can't tell. It's the smile. Fuck. God, if his smile wasn't so big, then it would be clearer. You think it's Vietnamese? He looks Vietnamese. Kinda. Oh, if I get it wrong, because I'm Vietnamese. If I get this wrong, then my parents are gonna beat my ass. But is Vietnamese? You think so? Is he Japanese? I can kind of see some Japanese. Yeah, is he Vietnamese? Ah! It's okay. It's a smile. It messes you up. That's Japanese. I knew it. I saw some Japanese in it. Okay, this guy's got to be Korean, right? Or Chinese? He's got to be Korean. No? Korean and Chinese is very hard to tell. Korean. Fuck! I mean, shoot! Dang. Okay, this is cheating because her hair is covering up half her face. And too much makeup, too much eyeliner. It's obscuring the shape of the eyes. Japanese? Her nose might be Vietnamese. I don't think it's Vietnamese though. There's too much makeup. Japanese. Okay. What was that, like 1 out of 5? It's Korean. Oh, that's Vietnamese. That's not even a question. Not even a question. Asian is this. It's either Chinese or Japanese. I think we can eliminate Korean and Vietnamese. I think it's Chinese. It's Korean? What the hell? All right. This has got to be Korean, right? Vietnamese or Chinese? Vietnamese or Chinese? Vietnamese or Chinese? Vietnamese. Japanese? How is that Japanese? This doesn't make any sense. This is the lying. Wait. Oh, it's just words? Okay. Well, this is Japanese, of course. Oh, thank God. Korean? Tôi ghét bạn means I hate you in Vietnamese. Korean? Oh, thank God. Okay. It's a little bit of a side view. Not sure. Not sure. Oof. What do you think? I can't tell at all. Why? Is she Vietnamese? If she is, no. I don't think the nose is Vietnamese. And her eyes are kind of wide. I don't think it's... Is it Japanese? I think it's Japanese, right? Oh God, it's Vietnamese. Wait. He's Chinese. Okay, good. Oof. He looks Vietnamese, but it might be a trick. He looks Vietnamese. I want to say Vietnamese, but it could be Chinese or Korean. It's not Lao. There's only 4. Chinese? Oh God. Hey, Jake Shuri. Thanks for the super chat. There's a distraction. Oh God. What is it? Korean? Are you sure? He looks Vit. Chinese? You think Chinese? Oh, he looks Vit though. I see a little bit Chinese though. Oh, thank God. Okay. What? That's just cheating. You have no idea. He looks white. He's super white. I don't know. Okay. I'm going by the skin tone. Vietnamese are darker skin. So I don't think it's Vietnamese. It's either it's the bottom 3. Japanese. Korean. No, that was impossible. Okay, I think she's Vietnamese. I see a lot of Vietnamese. These can't be mixed. Because isn't that cheating? She's Vietnamese, I think. Right? Okay, good. Yo. Japanese. Vit? No. Japanese or Korean? Korean or Japanese? I don't think he's Chinese. Japanese, right? Bro. Italian? Okay, good. Okay. What? That's way too much makeup. You can't tell. It's impossible. Might as well just Photoshop it. Oh, which country has a lot of makeup? Korean. Okay, Japanese. Is that it? No. All right, reveal my results. Hello. 55 out of 100. Guess the Asian. Good job, guys. Good job. That's an F. It's an F. Okay, so this I thought was Vit, but he's actually Japanese. It's the smile. He obscures his face. This I thought was Korean, but he's Chinese. This I thought was Japanese. He's Korean. I can see that. Korean too. This is Chinese, not Korean. This is not Vietnamese. How is he not Vietnamese? She's Vietnamese. Crap. This he's impossible to tell. That's impossible to tell. I think some of these are kind of hard to tell. You're South Asian. Crap. All right, I guess I was not as good as I thought. That's a 55. Oof. Worst score I've ever gotten. Another one. Ooh. All right, let's do that later. Okay, before we start, I have this as a snack. It looks like it's something sugary. All right, we'll see. Ugh. All right. Let's just break off a little piece. Here you go. Ooh. Focus. Ooh. Oh. Hello. Very crunchy. It's a little bit savory and a little bit sweet. Not bad. Oh, it's pretty good. It's like a rice cracker with some hanami. Oh, pretty good. That's a 9 out of 10. Oh, carb. A little too crunchy, but it's really good. Yeah, it's like one of those flavored Chinese or Asian rice crackers. Yeah, but it has some more flavor in it. It has like hanami flavor. I want to share. I will share with you. Just come knock on my door and I'll share it with you. Okay. That sounds way too crunchy. All right. All right, guys. Joshua, you have an important question. All right, tell me. Where I'm at? I am in California. Come to California. I'll give you a cookie. Okay. So, what happened last week? All right, in our story. Wait, am I good at personal finance? Actually, I'd like to think yes. Why? I think personal finance is very important. Why do you ask? Okay. Hey, stop distracting me, okay? All right, what happened last week? So last week, our hero Qiao Feng, he visits the mountain pass where his father died, right? Because he wanted to see his dead father's last words that he carved on a cliff face. So he goes there, but he sees that someone has already carved up the cliff face to remove the words. Okay, so he doesn't know his father's last words. But then he meets Aju there, and because she's been waiting for him. And he learns that she's a master of disguise, right? So he accuses her of being the person who was framing him, okay, of killing his parents and his master. And she's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "Oh, never mind." He thinks more clearly about it. He thinks that her martial arts is like terrible, so there's no way that she could kill his master. Um, so yeah, so he puts that out of his mind. Then they run into these Song Chinese soldiers who are kidnapping and killing Khitan civilians, right? And he jumps in to save them. He kills a bunch of Song soldiers in the process. And in the scuffle, he sees a chest of one of the Khitan men, and that guy has a tattoo of a blue wolf's head on it, right? Then Qiao Feng pulls open his shirt, revealing that he also has the same tattoo on his chest, right? He has it. He's had it since childhood. So it looks like this is his tribe, his Khitan tribe, okay? And it confirms that he is actually truly ethnically a Khitan person, not Song Chinese, right? Which means that the Song people killed his parents, all right? Now Qiao Feng has like a revelation. So he realizes that Khitan or Song Chinese, it doesn't matter. There are good and bad people in both ethnic groups, right? Now, so Qiao Feng decides to get revenge, to kill everyone who was part of that expedition a long time ago because they killed his parents. So, first order of business is to find out who the leader of the expedition is. Okay, so apparently the leader is probably still alive, but his identity is still a mystery, right? So he wants to find out who the leader of the expedition is, right? He also wants to kill everyone who's still alive from that expedition. So he and Aju, they decide to go find Elder Shu of the Beggars Clan to question him. So that's where we drop off. All right, how's that? Okay. We're chapter 21. The distant vague as a dream. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Thousands of li were hazy like a dream. Oh, chapter 21. So we're on book. We're in book 3. We just started book 3. There are 5 books. Okay, so I think we're 2/5 of the way through the story. It's a long story. A lot of things are have yet to happen. The two of them immediately went southward, bypassed Yanmen Pass via the mountain ridge, and came to a small town. They went to an inn. Without waiting for Qiao Feng to say anything, Aju told the waiter of the inn to bring them 20 jin of wine. Each jin is 0.6 kilograms. Seeing that the two of them did not look like a married couple or siblings, the waiter already felt surprised. Hearing her tell him to take out 20 jin of wine, he was even more astonished. Hence, he only looked at them in a trance, without going to fetch wine, and also without replying. Qiao Feng gave him a stare. He was not angry, yet his look was commanding. That waiter was frightened. Only now did he turn around, while mumbling, 20 jin of wine? You're using wine to bathe? Aju laughed and said, Great Master Qiao, we're going to find Elder Shu, but it looks like in 2 days we'll be detected by other people. There'd be lots of fun if we fought and killed all the way, but I'm afraid Elder Shu would flee at the mere sight of us coming towards him. Then we wouldn't be able to find him. Qiao Feng laughed and said, You don't need to flatter me. If we fought all the way, there'd be more and more enemies coming, and eventually the two of us wouldn't be able to avoid getting killed. Aju said, There are unlikely to be dangers. It's just that if every one of them flees at the sight of us, it may be hard to handle. Then, according to you, is there any way for us? How about resting in the inns during the daytime and going quickly at nighttime? Jake Shuri, what is this wine made of? No idea. Don't know. It's just wine. Aju smiled and said, If you want to make it impossible for them to recognize us, it couldn't be easier. But I don't know if the great hero Qiao, who is famous all over the land under heaven, is willing to disguise? Speaking to the last, it was the word disguise yet again. Qiao Feng laughed and said, I'm not a Han, so basically I don't want to wear these Han clothes already. If putting on Khitan clothes, it'll be very hard to travel in the central plains. Aju, who do you think I should disguise as? Aju said, You're imposing in stature. As soon as we stop or go out, you'll make everyone take notice. It'll be best if you disguise as an ordinary-looking man in Jianghu who doesn't have any unusual characteristics. It's possible to run across several hundreds of men of this type on the road every day, so no one would keep their eye on you. Qiao Feng slapped his leg and said, Brilliant, brilliant. After drinking wine, we're gonna disguise. When he drank up to 20 jin of wine, he seems to be in a good mood. Qiao Feng. When he drank up to 20 jin of wine, Aju immediately started to disguise. A great variety of things such as flour, paste, and ink glue were combined, and the extraordinary features of Qiao Feng's face disappeared one by one. Next, Aju gave him a sparse mustache on the upper lip. I guess she uses Korean makeup. When looking in a mirror, even Qiao Feng could not recognize himself. After that, Aju disguised herself as a middle-aged man. Aju laughed and said, Your appearance has been changed completely, but as soon as you talk or drink wine, other people would know who you are. Qiao Feng nodded and said, Then I must talk less and drink wine less. Going south this time, he really talked very little. He also drank only 2 or 3 jin of wine each meal as a formality. How much money do they have? Oh wait, Qiao Feng can just steal money. true. Never mind. That day, arriving in Sanjia town in Jinan, while the two of them were eating noodles in a small noodle shop, they suddenly heard two beggars talking to each other on the outside. One beggar said, Elder Shu died a really miserable death. Oh, he died. All the bones in his chest and his back were broken. That evil traitor Qiao Feng must have committed murder again. Oh god, he's been framed for another murder. Qiao Feng was slightly shocked and thought, Elder Shu has died? He and Aju looked at each other. He heard another beggar say, The day after tomorrow, the session for receiving condolences will start in Weihui, Henan. All the elders and brothers of the beggars clan will go to the memorial ceremony. We must discuss a way to capture Qiao Feng. The first beggar then said a few slangy sentences of the beggars clan. Qiao Feng certainly understood what he meant. The beggar said that Qiao Feng had a formidable influence, hence they were not allowed to talk as they pleased and to be overheard by his subordinates. After eating noodles, Qiao Feng and Aju left Sanjia town and went to the outskirts. Qiao Feng said, We should go to Weihui to have a look. Maybe we'll see a clue. Aju said, Yes, we must go to Weihui. Great Master Qiao, most of the people who will go to the ceremony are your former subordinates, so don't give yourself away in your words and behaviors. Qiao Feng nodded, I know. They immediately turned to the east and went towards Weihui. Jake Sherry! Whiskey for the men and beer for the horses. True. Christine Ozuzu. Hoi! How's it going? On the third day, they arrived in Weihui and entered the city. They only saw that they were full of the beggar clan's disciples on the streets and alleys. Some occupied tables in restaurants and ate with no manners. Some slaughtered dogs and pigs in alleys, and some even importuned and expropriated on streets. Qiao Feng felt unhappy when he saw that the beggars clan, which was known as the number one largest society in Jianghu, was slack in the rules and no longer had the strict and thriving atmosphere of the days when he had been in charge of it. Oh, so the clan is like it's going downhill since he left. James, what's up? Thank you. Big fan of you too. If this situation continued, soon it would be regarded with contempt by the common people, even though he and the beggars clan were no longer friends and had become the enemies of each other. Seeing that his painstaking efforts in many years had been nullified in a very short time, he still felt sorry for it. Hearing several disciples of the beggars clan say some slangy sentences, he knew that the memorial tablet of Elder Shu was placed in an abandoned garden in the west of the city. Qiao Feng and Aju bought some incense sticks, candles, joss money, a pig head, a bull's head, and a goat's head, then went to the abandoned garden along with other people and kowtowed to Elder Shu's memorial tablet. He saw that Elder Shu's memorial tablet was imbued with fresh blood. That was a custom of the beggars clan, which meant that the deceased had been killed by someone and the members of the society had to avenge him. All the people in the mourning hall inveighed against Qiao Feng, but they did not know that he was beside them. Seeing that all around him were the leading people of the clan, Qiao Feng feared that his flaws would be noticed by someone. Not wanting to stay here for long, he immediately took leave and walked outside alongside Aju. He thought, Elder Shu's already dead. The number of people who know that leading big brother in the world has been reduced by one. Suddenly, he caught a glimpse of a person at the end of the alley. who was a woman with a tall and big stature. With his sharp eyes, Chao Feng recognized her as Granny Tan. He thought, very good. She must have come here to attend Elder Shu's memorial ceremony. I've wanted to find her. After that, he saw another person flash by the alley. This person also had a very good lightness skill, but he was Zhao Qiansun. Oh. Are they having an affair? Granny Tan and this Zhao Qiansun guy. She's married to the other guy, Grandpa Tan. Chao Feng was surprised. These two people are sneaky. Is there anything strange? He knew that these two people had originally been apprentice brother and apprentice younger sister of each other, and the emotional entanglement between them had not been broken off until now. He thought, both of them are 60 or 70 years old already. Could it be that they're still secretly dating and having an affair? At first, he did not like to meddle in other people's businesses, but he thought that Chao Qiansun knew who the leading big brother was, and that Grandpa Tan and Granny Tan were also likely to know him. Even if he could find some chinks in their armor, he would be able to seize the opportunity and force them to reveal the truth. Hence, he immediately put his mouth close to Aju's ear and said, "You wait for me in the inn." Aju nodded. Without delay, Chao Feng chased in the direction that Chao Qiansun had gone. Granny got game? Yep. Chao Qiansun only chose secluded places to go along, sometimes hiding in the corners of walls on the eastern side. Excuse me. And sometimes shrinking under the edges of the roofs on the western side. With a stealthy behavior, he went out of the eastern gate of the city. Chao Feng followed Chao Qiansun from a distance and all along did not let him detect him. He saw that Chao Qiansun went to the side of a canal, bent his body, and got into a big wooden boat. Chao Feng raised his internal energy and ran quickly. After leaping several times, he already reached the side of the boat. He gently jumped onto the roof of the boat and put his ear against it to listen. Chinks? Like chinks in armor? Like holes in the armor, right? Find some holes or some like abnormality, some flaws in the armor. Chink. A narrow opening or a crack. There you go. Well, could have been bad searching for chink on Google. Wooden boat. So he gently jumped onto the roof of the boat and put his ear against it to listen. In the cabin, Granny Tan let out a deep sigh and said, "Sugar, you and I are already this old. It's too late to regret the things of our young years. What's the point in mentioning past events again?" Chao Qiansun said, "This life of mine has been ruined. It's already too late to regret. Xiaojuan, I've arranged to meet up with you here for no other reason than to beg you to sing those several songs of the past once again." Granny Tan said, "Alas, you're always silly to the point of being laughable. When my hubby came to Wei Hui and saw you again, he was already very displeased. He's a suspicious man, so you'd better trouble me less." Chao Qiansun said, "What are you afraid of? Us Xi Xiongmei," so that's brother and sister, apprentice brother and sisters. "Us Xi Xiongmei are on the up and up. What's wrong with talking about past events?" Granny Tan sighed and softly said, Those songs of the past. Seeing that her mind had been stirred, Chao Qiansun pleaded even more. "Xiaochuan, today the two of us have met, but I don't know when we'll meet again. I'm afraid my life is not long. When you want to sing to me again, I wouldn't have the blessing of coming to hear you." Granny Tan said, "Sugar, don't say that. If you definitely want to hear me, then I'm gonna gently sing a song. Xiao Qiansun said happily. Good. Many thanks, Xiao Chan. Thank you very much. Granny Tan leisurely sang. Oh no. See, this is what I don't like when there are songs in a book. You don't know the melody, so how am I supposed to sing this? Granny Tan leisurely sang. At that time when you went over on the bridge, I was watching close next to it. When she had just sung 2 sentences with kala sounds, the door of the cabin was pushed open and a man rushed in. After Qiao Feng had been disguised, both Zhao Qiansun and Granny Tan were not able to recognize him. The two of them jumped out of their skin at first, but when they saw that he was not Grandpa Tan, they immediately calmed down and shouted, Who? Qiao Feng coldly looked at the two of them and said, One is frivolous and immoral, seducing a married woman. The other is slutty and shameless, secretly meeting the boyfriend without the husband's knowledge. Beautiful singing. Thank you so much. When he had not yet finished saying that, Granny Tan and Zhao Qiansun split up and attacked simultaneously from the left and right sides. Qiao Feng slightly leaned to one side, turned his hand over, and grabbed Granny Tan's wrist. After that, he struck out with his elbow, aiming at Zhao Qiansun's left side. His attack was delivered later, but came earlier than Zhao Qiansun's. As experts in Wulin, both Zhao Qiansun and Granny Tan only thought that in one stance they would be able to subdue the enemy, and never could they have expected that this mediocre-looking man had such extraordinary martial arts that he could go on the offensive from a defensive position in just one stance. The space in the cabin was narrow, hence their limbs could not be used to the fullest, but Xiao Feng was good at both long-range and close-quarters combat. In the cabin, which was less than 1 zhang square, he still executed grasping hand techniques and short-range skills very cleverly. Fighting to the 7th bout, Zhao Qiansun was hit by a finger attack in the waist. Scared, Granny Tan fought a bit more slowly. She was instantly hit by a palm attack in the back and collapsed on the floor. Zhao Feng coldly said, The two of you, please have a rest here. In the abandoned garden in Weihui City, not just a few heroes and brave men are paying respects to Elder Shu's memorial tablet. I'll invite them to comment on this matter. Zhao Qiansun and Granny Tan were frightened and tried to channel their internal energies, but their acupuncture points were already blocked, and they were unable to move even the tips of their little fingers. The two of them were already old. They no longer had any sexual desire. They arranged to meet each other here only to talk about the past, and there was nothing unethical between them. But that time was in the Northern Song dynasty. Everyone was very serious about protecting the rules of etiquette, and if any hero or brave man in Jianghu violated a taboo about sex, they would be despised by the many. When there were one man and one woman quietly meeting up in this boat, who was willing to believe that it was only to sing a song and to talk some silly sentences? If everyone came here to see this, afterwards, how would the two of them be able to live? Even Grandpa Tan would no longer have any honor and glory. Jake Sherry, wait, you thought this was taking place in the Middle Kingdom? It is. It's taking place in Song China, no? Granny Tan hastily said, Hero, we haven't done anything that offended you. If you could show some mercy, I'll definitely repay your kindness. Xiao Feng said, There's no need to repay me. I only asked you one sentence. Please answer in 3 words. If you say the truth, I'll immediately unblock your acupuncture points and leave, and I'll never mention the incident of today to anyone else. Granny Tan said, As long as I know, I'll certainly inform you. Qiao Feng said, someone wrote a letter to Chief Wang of the Beggars Clan talking about the Qiao Feng matter. Many people call the writer of the letter Leading Big Brother. Who is this man? Granny Tan hesitated. When she had not yet replied, Qiao Qiansun shouted loudly, Xiao Chuan, you mustn't say. No matter what, you mustn't say. Glaring at him, Qiao Feng asked, you'd rather lose your reputation than say it? Qiao Qiansun said, then Lao Zi, which means your father here, would die, that's all. I'm indebted to this leading big brother, so Lao Tzu definitely won't say his name. Qiao Feng said, then if Xiao Zhuan loses all her reputation, you wouldn't care either? If Grandpa Tan knows about today's incident, I'll immediately kill myself in front of him and use death to express my regret. That is all. Qiao Feng turned towards Granny Tan. So he's very loyal to this leader of the expedition. Who is he? Qiao Feng turned towards Granny Tan and said, you may not necessarily be indebted to that man. If you speak, everyone will be safe and sound. You'll save Grandpa Tan's and your reputations, and you'll save your Shigu's life as well. True, Granny Tan has no connection to that guy. Hearing him threaten to take Qiao Qiansun's life, Granny Tan could not help but shiver and said, okay, I'm going to tell you, that man is... Qiao Qiansun hurriedly called out, Xiao Chuan, you mustn't say, I beg you, this man is probably Qiao Feng's subordinate. If you say this, that leading big brother's life is going to be in danger. Qiao Feng said, I am Qiao Feng. If you two don't say, there will be endless future problems. Frightened, Qiao Qiansun said, no wonder your martial arts are so good. Xiao Chuan, in my life I've never begged anything from you. This is the only thing I beg from you. You must agree, no matter what. Granny Tan thought that for the past several decades, he had been cherishing her, had very deep feelings for her. She herself had let him down many times, and he had never said what he wanted to beg from her. But this time, in order to cover up for the person who he was indebted to, he was willing to die. Hence, she herself simply could not ruin his righteous act. She then said, Chief Qiao, today's matter, doing good deeds or doing evil with it, is totally up to you. I and my Xixiong have a clear conscience which can be expressed to heaven and the sun. Please, forgive me for not being able to tell you what you want to know. Even though she had said these sentences politely, her words showed her determination not to reveal the truth at any cost. Qiao Qiansun happily said, Xiao Chuan, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Qiao Feng knew that it was useless to force them again. He uttered a humph sound and pulled out a jade hairpin from Granny Tan's head, then jumped out of the cabin, returned straight to Weihui City, and asked about the place where Grandpa Tan was staying at. Because he was in disguise, no one was able to recognize him. Grandpa Tan and Granny Tan were staying at Rugui Inn in Weihui City. This was not a secret matter, therefore he knew about it immediately after asking. When he entered the inn, he saw Grandpa Tan putting his hands together at his back and walking back and forth in his room, looking very fretful. He's probably thinking, where the hell is my wife? Qiao Feng stretched out his hand, and right at the middle of his palm was that jade hairpin of Granny Tan's. After seeing that Qiao Qiansun had followed them very closely to Weihui, Grandpa Tan had always felt depressed and worried. And now, because he had not seen his wife for half a day, he was worried about her and was wondering where she had gone to. Suddenly, seeing his wife's jade hairpin, he was both surprised and happy, and asked, Who are you? Didn't my wife ask you to come here? What do you want to instruct me? As he finished saying this, he held out his hand and took that jade hairpin. Qiao Feng let him take the hairpin and said, Your honorable wife has been captured by other people. She is about to be put in danger. Grandpa Tan was frightened and said, My wife's martial arts are very good. How could she be captured easily by other people? Qiao Feng said, It's Qiao Feng. As Grandpa Tan heard the three words, It's Qiao Feng, he was no longer doubtful about this, but he was even more anxious and worried and hastily asked, Qiao Feng, alas, if it's him, then it's really troublesome. My wife, where is she? If you want to see your honorable wife alive, it's very easy. If you want to see her dead, it's also easy. Grandpa Tan was a stable man. Even though he was worried, he still maintained his composure and asked, Please instruct me. Qiao Feng said, Qiao Feng has one matter to ask, Grandpa Tan. If you say the truth, he will immediately let your honorable wife go, and wouldn't dare to harm a single hair of hers. But if you don't speak the truth, we'll have no choice but to put her to death, and bury her corpse, and Chao Qiansun's corpse, in the same grave. Okay, so he's blackmailing. Hearing the last sentence, Grandpa Tan could no longer restrain himself. He then let out a furious shout and sent a palm attack towards Qiao Feng's face. Qiao Feng slanted his body and slightly moved backwards. That palm attack hit the air. Grandpa Tan was frightened, thinking that this palm attack of his had been fast like lightning and had not been something trivial, but unexpectedly, this man had dodged it so easily as if nothing had happened. Immediately, he stretched his right palm out obliquely and struck out horizontally with his left palm. Qiao Feng saw that the inside of the room was narrow, which made it impossible for him to dodge. Therefore, he immediately held up his right arm to receive the attack. With a pai sound, the palm attack hit his arm. Qiao Feng's body did not shake. He turned his right arm over and pressed down onto Grandpa Tan's shoulder. In an instant, Grandpa Tan felt as if there was a rock which weighed several thousand jin upon his shoulder. He immediately channeled his internal energy in order to stand upright, but the weight on his shoulder was like that of a mountain or mound, pressing him down to the point that his backbone produced a ka sounds non-stop and were almost broken. Hence, he had no choice but to bend his knees and kneel down. Damn. He's like, kneel! Not willing to yield, he exerted himself and made another effort to stand up, but he was unable to take another breath. His knees became weak and he knelt down. He really could not help kneeling down like this, but his knees and joints had already become weak. Thus, when pressed down by such a heavy force, it was impossible for him not to bend his knees. Qiao Feng intended to defeat Grandpa Tan's pride. Hence, after he had knelt down, the pressure still did not decrease, making Grandpa Tan's back bend like a bow and his forehead almost touch the floor. The whole face of Grandpa Tan had become very red, and he could barely sustain the pressure. He used all his strength to resist and hold his body up. Suddenly, Qiao Feng's arm let go of him. The pressure on the shoulder of Grandpa Tan suddenly disappeared, which was unanticipated by him. Hence, it was too late for him to take back his strength. As a result, he immediately jumped up for over 1 chang. With a pung sound, the top of his head hit a beam heavily and all but broke it. When Grandpa Tan was falling down from midair, Qiao Feng did not wait until his feet touched the floor to stretch out his own right hand and grab his chest. Qiao Feng's arm was very long, while Grandpa Tan was short and small in stature. Hence, no matter how he punched or kicked, he was unable to touch Qiao Feng's body. Moreover, when his feet were in midair, even if his martial arts were much better, he would not be able to use them. As soon as Grandpa Tan was in that urgent situation, he understood and shouted, So, you're Qiao Feng? Qiao Feng said, Of course it's me. Fuck you. Why do you want to get that brat Chao Qiansun involved in this? What Grandpa Tan was angry about the most was Qiao Feng's words that after killing Granny Tan, he would bury her corpse and Chao Qiansun's corpse in the same grave. Qiao Feng said, Your wife wants to drag him in. Why does it have anything to do with me? Do you want to know where Granny Tan is now? Do you want to know who she is saying loving words and singing love songs to? Oof. That one Mexican kid. What's up? Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Hearing that, Grandpa Tan immediately guessed that his wife and Chao Qiansun were staying together and could not help but want to go see the whole story. He then said, "Where is she? Please, take me there." Xiao Feng laughed coldly and said, "What have you done for me? Why do I gotta take you there?" Recalling what Xiao Feng had said previously, Grandpa Tan asked, You said you want to ask me something. What do you want to ask?" Xiao Feng said, "That day in the apricot forest outside Wuxia city, Elder Shu brought along a letter which was written to the former chief of the beggars clan, Wang Jiantong. Who wrote this letter?" Grandpa Tan's limbs slightly trembled. At this moment, he was still being lifted up by Qiao Feng, and his body was in the air. If Qiao Feng sent internal energy out from the palm, he would take his life instantly. But unexpectedly, he did not fear, and said sternly, "This man killed your father, so you bear a grudge against him. I definitely can't reveal his name. Otherwise, you'd find and take your revenge on him. And then wouldn't it mean I've caused him to get killed?" Qiao Feng said, "If you don't speak, you'll get killed first." Grandpa Tan laughed, haha, and said, "What kind of a man do you think I am? How could I be mortally afraid of death and sell off my friends?" Seeing him take care to preserve personal loyalty, Qiao Feng rather admired him. Had this been a different matter, he would have already stopped questioning him. But how could the grudge involving the deaths of his parents be something ordinary? Therefore, he said, "You don't care about your own life, but do you not cherish even your wife's life? Grandpa Tan and Granny Tan's reputation going through the floor, leaving behind a world-scale disgrace. Don't tell me that you aren't afraid of that either." People in Wulin People in Wulin cherished their reputation the most, and it was usual for brave men in Jianghu to attach more importance to their names than to their lives. After hearing these two sentences, Grandpa Tan said, "I, Tan, sit firmly and stand upright. All my life I've never done anything wrong to my friends. How could you say the words reputation going to the floor, leaving behind a world-scale disgrace to me?" Xiao Feng sternly said, "Granny Tan may not sit firmly and stand upright, and Zhao Qiansun may do wrong to his friends." In an instant, Grandpa Tan's face completely reddened, then turned livid. He frowned and glared fiercely at Xiao Feng with glaring eyes. He glared with glaring eyes. Xiao Feng unloosened his hand and put Grandpa Tan down on the floor, then turned around and went out. Silent as the grave, Grandpa Tan followed him. The two of them, one ahead and one behind, went out of Wei Hui City. On the way, not just a few brave men in Jianghu recognized Grandpa Tan and respectfully made way and saluted him. Grandpa Tan only let out a humph sound and walked past them. Not long afterwards, the two of them arrived at the side of that big wooden boat. In a flash, Qiao Feng jumped onto the head of the boat. He pointed into the cabin and said, "You come and see by yourself." After that, Grandpa Tan got on the boat. When he looked into the cabin, he saw his wife and Chao Qiansun were leaning on each other affectionately and cuddling up in a corner of the cabin. Boiling with anger, Grandpa Tan sent a fierce palm attack towards Chao Qiansun's head. A pung sound was heard. Chao Qiansun did not make a move, nor did he strike back, and he did not dodge the attack either. When Grandpa Tan's palm touched the top of Chao Qiansun's head, he felt something wrong. He hastily stretched out his hand to touch his wife's cheek, and felt that it was ice cold. It turned out Granny Tan had already been dead for a long time. The whole body of Grandpa Tan trembled, but he was unwilling to give up. He held out his hand to check her breathing, but she no longer breathed. Dumbfounded, he touched Chao Qiansun's forehead and also felt that it was ice cold. Grandpa Tan was extremely grieved and indignant. He turned around and glared fiercely at Xiao Feng. His eyes looked as if they were spouting fire. Seeing that Granny Tan and Chao Qiansun suddenly had died together unnaturally, Xiao Feng was also very astonished. All right. Time for a break. So it looks like Granny Tan and Chao Qiansun had died. All right. But why? 5-minute break. I'll be right back. And we're back. All right. Does Lynn read the chat? Yeah, I scan the chat. So I may not catch everything, but I do. If there's a super chat, then it's colorful, so it catches my eye, so I read that. Just saying. Okay. Right, so Qiao Feng left Granny Tan and Chao Qiansun there. And they were paralyzed, right? Because Qiao Feng paralyzed them. But when they come back, those two are dead. Why? Why? Seeing that Granny Tan and Chao Qiansun suddenly had died together unnaturally, Qiao Feng was also very astonished. When leaving the boat, he had only blocked some acupuncture points of the two of them. How could the two experts suddenly die like this? He lifted the corpse of Chao Qiansun up and took a quick look at it. He saw that there was not any wound caused by weapons on the corpse, nor was there any blood stain. He then pulled the clothes on Chao Qiansun's chest. With a "ch" sound, they were torn off. He saw a big black bruise on the chest of the corpse. Obviously, Chao Qiansun had been hit by a heavy palm attack. What's stranger was that, unexpectedly, it looked like this serious injury had been caused by his own palm attack. Oh, bells for the two? Okay. For the two. Old people. Grandpa Tan carried Granny Tan, turned around and unfastened her clothes. Unfastened her clothes to see the bruise on her chest. Her injury... Oh, God. Her injury and the injury that Chao Qiansun had suffered were exactly alike. Grandpa Tan wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He said in a low voice to Qiao Feng, "You're a beast in human face, such savagery!" Amazed, Qiao Feng was speechless for a period of time. He only thought, who used heavy palm attacks to kill Granny Tan and Chao Qiansun? The killer's internal energy is profound and very extraordinary. Could it be that it's also my adversary who came here? But how could he know that the two of them were in this boat? Feeling grieved at the violent death of his beloved wife, Grandpa Tan channeled internal energy into his two arms and struck towards Qiao Feng with all his strength. Qiao Feng dodged to one side. Only loud kalala sounds were heard. The palm force of Grandpa Tan had struck down one side of the boat's hood. Qiao Feng put out his right hand, grabbed Grandpa Tan's shoulder, and said, "Grandpa Tan, I definitely didn't kill your wife. Do you believe me?" "If it wasn't you, then who?" "Now your life is in my hands. If I want to kill you, it'd be as easy as turning my hand over. What is the good of deceiving you?" "You only want to find out who killed your father. My martial arts aren't as good as yours, but how can I be fooled by you?" "Okay, you tell me the name of the enemy that killed my father. I'll bear the responsibility to avenge your wife's death on behalf of you." Grandpa Tan laughed wildly in a sorrowful voice. He tried to use his strength continuously 3 times to break loose from the enemy's grasp. However, the power of the palm that Qiao Feng was lightly putting on his shoulder varied according to his power. Grandpa Tan struggled with powerful force, but the force of the enemy's palm became stronger accordingly. Therefore, from beginning to end, he was unable to escape from it. Grandpa Tan flew into a rage. He put his tongue between his 2 sets of teeth and gave it a powerful bite, severing it. With his mouth being filled with fresh blood, he spouted it towards Qiao Feng. Qiao Feng hastily dodged to one side. Grandpa Tan quickly ran over, sent the corpse of Qiao Qiansun away in a fierce kick, and carried the corpse of Granny Tan tightly in his arms. His neck then loosened up, and he died. He killed himself. So I guess it's another bell toll. Damn, Grandpa Tan wasn't joking around. So he bites off his tongue and he spits it. Uses the blood to spit it at Qiao Feng to escape. And then he killed himself. Okay. Wait, did he kill himself or no? Actually, hold on. It says his neck then loosened up and he died. Did someone like sneakily kill him? Or did he just suicide? Huh. Seeing this kind of devastation, Qiao Feng also felt sorrowful and rather sorry for them. Even though he had not killed the Tans and Zhao Qiansun with his own hands, they had died because of him. If he wanted to obliterate the corpses and destroy the evidence, he only needed to stamp his foot to create a hole in the bilge of the boat, and the boat would sink to the bottom of the river. Oh, he died from blood loss. I see. That makes sense. That's some quick blood loss. Okay. Yeah, so he died because he bit off his tongue. Nice. Good job. But he thought, if I hide these 3 corpses, wouldn't it look like I have a guilty conscience? Hence, he immediately got out of the cabin and disembarked, wanting to look for a footprint or a clue on the riverbank, but no trace was found. He hurriedly returned to the inn. All along, Aju had been waiting for him at the gate. Seeing him return unharmed, she was very happy. But seeing that he had a doubtful expression, she knew that his stalking of Qiao Qiansun and Granny Tan had been in vain. She said in a low voice, "How was it?" "All died." Aju was slightly shocked. She asked, "Granny Tan and Qiao Qiansun?" "Grandpa Tan as well. The 3 of them died together." Aju only thought that he had killed them. Even though she felt uneasy, it was inconvenient for her to be critical of him. She said, "Qiao Qiansun is an accomplice in the murders of your parents. There's nothing wrong with killing him." Qiao Feng shook his head and said, "I didn't kill them." Aju let out a sigh and said, "If you didn't kill them, then that's very good. I've always thought that Grandpa Tan and Granny Tan didn't do anything that offended you, so they could be spared. But who killed them?" You can die by biting your tongue. I think it's a thing in Wuxia that you can die by just biting your tongue. I think there are multiple accounts of that happening. Qiao Feng shook his head and said, "I don't know." He then counted on the fingers and said, "There are only 3 people who know that prime criminal left in the world. We should act immediately and mustn't let the enemy go ahead of us all the time. We've always been in a disadvantageous position already. Aju said, correct. That Madame Ma hates you to the marrow. She'll be unwilling to tell you in any case, let alone the fact that forcing and questioning a widow aren't the deeds of a real man. Monk Ji Guang's temple is in Jiangnan, which is far from here. So let's go to Tai'an in Shandong to find the Shan family. A trace of pity showed up in Qiao Feng's eyes. He said, Aju, it's been hard on you for the past few days. Aju called out loudly, Innkeeper, innkeeper, quickly bring us the bill. Surprised, Qiao Feng said, It won't be late to pay the bill tomorrow morning. No, we must go quickly tonight. Don't let the enemy be ahead of us at every step. Qiao Feng felt grateful to her and nodded. In the dim twilight, they went out of Weihui City. On the way, they already heard other people noisily spreading the news that the Khitan demon, Qiao Feng, had somehow suddenly laid his murderous hands on Grandpa Tan, Granny Tan, and Zhao Qiansun. Damn. Already framed for the 3 deaths. When saying this, these people looked around for fear that Qiao Feng would show up beside them at any time. They really did not know that Qiao Feng was right beside them. If he wanted to harm other people, these people truly would not be able to escape. On the way, they changed horses and went quickly west. Wait, what? Why did I say west? And went east quickly without stopping. Going to the second day, even though Aju had not said any tired word, she sat on the horseback with a drowsy look, and several times she almost fell down from the horse. Seeing that she was really unable to keep enduring, Qiao Feng abandoned the horses and switched to the carriage. The two of them slept in the big carriage for 6 or 8 hours. After sleeping enough, they abandoned the carriage and used horses again, running at full speed. They kept going non-stop like this. Aju happily said, In any case, this time we're going to arrive ahead of that prime villain. Both she and Qiao Feng did not know who the enemy was. Hence, when they mentioned that man, they always called him the prime villain. This is the leader of the expedition. Long ago. Claire. Wife her, yes. She's wife material. So far. But who disguised as him? Who disguised as him? Huh? We still don't know. Who else is a master of disguise? But Xiao Feng was secretly worried because he felt that the prime villain had always arrived earlier than himself at every single step. This man was not below himself in martial arts. His wits and schemes were far superior to those of his own, much less the fact that thus far he had only seen a dense fog before his own eyes, while the enemy could see clearly everything he did. All his life he had never met such a formidable enemy. However, the stronger the enemy was, the higher Qiao Feng's mettle was, and he was not the least a bit afraid. Impartial Judge Shan Zheng resided outside the eastern gate of Tai'an City in Shandong. He was widely known within Tai'an. When Qiao Feng and Aju arrived in Tai'an, it was already at twilight. After asking clearly where the Shan family was, they immediately went there through the city. After they came out of the eastern gate and went for 1 li, they saw thick smoke rising in the sky. There was a fire somewhere. After that, they heard dang-dang sounds of gongs and the sounds of people shouting from afar, Fire! Fire! Quickly, fight the fire! Qiao Feng did not pay any attention to that and urged the horse on, getting closer and closer to the fire. He heard someone shouted, Quickly, fight the fire! Fight the fire! It's the impartial Shan family! What? Oh no. Qiao Feng and Aju were frightened. They reined in and looked at each other. Both of them thought, could it be that the prime villain has arrived earlier than us again? Aju consoled him. Shanzheng has very good martial arts. Even if his house was burned, he definitely wouldn't be burned to death inside. Jiao Feng shook his head. After he had killed the Shan clan's two tigers, the Shan family had a deep hatred towards him. Remember, he killed two of the sons, two of the Shan Zhang's sons. Arriving in Tai'an at this time, even though he had no intention of killing other people, he thought Shan Zheng and his descendants would definitely not forgive himself. Therefore, originally, he had prepared to get into a big battle. Unexpectedly, when he had not yet arrived at the manor, the opponent had already met with disaster. Therefore, he could not help feeling sad and sympathetic to him. The horses gradually came near the Shan manor. Jiao Feng and Aju only felt the broiling heat and saw red flames dancing boisterously. This was a really big fire. At this time, villagers all around had flocked to here to fight the fire, some carrying water and some scattering sand. Fortunately, there were deep trenches around the Shan manor, and no one lived in the vicinity of the manor, therefore the fire did not spread. Jiao Feng and Aju galloped to the side of the scene and got off the horses. They heard one man sigh. Old Master Shan was such a good person. He always helped the poor and disaster-stricken people in this region. For the past several decades, he had so many meritorious and virtuous acts. Why is it that not only was his house burned down, but no one in his entire family of 30-something people could escape either? Damn. Whole family dead. Another man said, his enemies must have set fire to the manor, then blocked the doors to prevent them from escaping. Otherwise, even as a 5-year-old child in the Shan family knew martial arts, how come they couldn't escape? The first man said, I've heard that Great Master Shan, Second Master Shan, and Fifth Master Shan were killed in Hunan by a villain called Xiao Feng or something. This time, someone came here to commit arson. Could it be that it is this prime villain as well? When mentioning that enemy in their conversations, Aju and Xiao Feng had called him the prime villain. At this moment, hearing those two villagers also say prime villain, they could not refrain from looking at each other. The man who was rather younger said, Of course it's Xiao Feng. When he spoke to her, he lowered his voice and continued, He must have led a large number of subordinates and broken into the manor, then ruthlessly slaughtered the Shan family. Oh, heaven doesn't really have eyes. Wait, what? Oh, heaven doesn't have eyes. The older man said, This Xiao Feng guy has done many evils. In the future, he'll certainly die 100 times more miserably than the Shan family's masters did. Hearing them cursing Xiao Feng, Aju was annoyed. She stretched out her hand and slapped the horse on the side of its neck. Startled, the horse shot out its left hoof, which kicked that man right in his bottom. Wow. The man shouted, Ah! and fell flat on his face. Good job. Aju said, What nonsense did you say? After receiving a kick by the horse, that man remembered that the prime villain, Xiao Feng, had very many subordinates. Hence, he was so frightened that he did not dare to utter a word and hurriedly went away. Xiao Feng smiled, but his smiling expression carried 30% sadness. He and Aju went to another side of the fire. They could hear everyone discussing in quick succession. All of them said the same, that no one among the 30-something people of the Shan family was able to escape, irrespective of being male, female, old, or young. When Xiao Feng smelled the foul-smelling air of burned corpses, which was coming out gust after gust from the fire, he knew that what they were saying was not false. All the men, women, old people, and young people in Shan Zhang's whole family had really been buried in the fire. Aju said in a low voice, This prime villain is really ruthless. He killed Shan Zhang and his sons. It couldn't be helped, but why did he have to kill his whole family? Why did he need to burn down even the house? Xiao Feng uttered a humph sound and said, This is called cutting the weeds and digging up the roots. If it had been me, I would have burned the house as well. Aju was startled and asked, What? That evening, in the apricot forest, Shanzhang said some sentences. Most probably you heard them as well. He said, There are several letters by that leading big brother hidden in my house. I already compared this letter with the handwriting of them. This is really a genuine letter. Aju sighed and said, That's right. Even though he already killed Shanzhang, he was afraid that you'd go into the Shan family's manor and successfully find those letters, and then you'd still be able to know his name. But if he burned the manor to the ground with a handful of kindling, there wouldn't be any letters left. You're smiling with 60% uncertainty? What does that look like? Like a confused smile? Like, at this moment, there were more and more people gathering to fight the fire, but the fire was intense. When pailfuls of water were splashed onto it, they instantly changed into white air, but they were not able to hold back the fire. Flames and heat were spurted out gust after gust, making everyone repeatedly go backwards. The crowd on one hand lamented, and on the other hand they severely cursed Qiao Feng. The offensive language of the peasants was certainly extremely unpleasant to hear. Aju feared that after hearing these irrational words of abuse, Qiao Feng would get furious and start another massacre, and then these peasants would really be wretched. She stole a look at him and saw a strange expression on his face. He seemed to be sad and also seemed to be regretful. But above all, he looked sympathetic. It seemed he was thinking that these peasants were very silly and not worth killing. She heard him let out a deep sigh and say dejectedly, Let's go to Mount Tiantai. He really had no alternative but to mention Mount Tiantai, even though Ji Guangdashi had taken part in the battle that killed his parents that year. Afterwards, he had developed a strong ambition to go to remote or alien places to gather tree bark to cure people in the region consisting of Zhejiang, Fujian, Guangdong, and Guangxi of malaria and illnesses caused by miasma. Countless people had been saved, but for that reason he himself had had a serious illness, and after recovering he had lost all of his martial arts. Oh, so the monk Ji Guang has lost all his martial arts. I think we knew that already, though. There was no one in Jianghu who did not respect Ji Guangdaishu for his deed of saving the common people. When mentioning him, everyone called him the living Buddha of 10,000 families. Were it not because Qiao Feng had no other choice, he definitely would be unwilling to make things difficult for Ji Guangdaishu. The two of them left Tai'an and chose ways to go south. But this time, Qiao Feng did not go quickly, as if his life was at risk. He thought that if he himself handled pressing matters leisurely, maybe he would be able to protect Ji Guangdaishu's life, and that if he went at double speed, as before, when he arrived at Mount Tiantai, probably he would also see the corpse of Ji Guangdaishu, and maybe even the temple where the monk lived would already be burned to the ground. Furthermore, Ji Guang usually roamed everywhere, hence he might not be staying at the temple on Mount Tiantai. Mount Tiantai was in Zhidong. This time, on the way going south from Tai'an, Qiao Feng and Aju went slowly as if they were sightseeing and talked about strange things and anecdotes in Jianghu. If their minds were not full of worries, this would have been a joyful sightseeing trip. That day, after arriving in Zhengjiang, the two of them went to Jinshan Temple to get a view of the river. This is the Yangtze River. While watching the water of the river rapidly rolling east unceasingly, Qiao Feng suddenly remembered a matter and said, Maybe the leading big brother and the prime villain are the same person. Aju clapped her hands and said, That's right. Why have we never thought of this before? Qiao Feng said, Of course, they may be two different people as well, but these two people must have a close relationship. Otherwise, that prime villain wouldn't go as far as using every possible means to hide that leading Big Brother's identity. But when even people such as Chief Wang were willing to follow that leading Big Brother, he must be an extraordinary person. Oh wait, they thought the prime villain and the leading Big Brother were the same people. Were the same person the whole time. Okay, never mind. That prime villain must be extraordinary like this too. How come there How come there are such two extraordinary people in the world without me knowing even one of them? So my guess is that these two people are most likely the same man. If I kill that prime villain, I'd get revenge for the murders of my parents. Aju nodded in approval and said, Great Master Chow, in the apricot forest that evening, those people related what had happened that year. I'm afraid. Saying to hear her voice could not help getting somewhat shaky. Xiao Feng continued, You're afraid that the prime villain was present in the apricot forest? Aju said in a trembling voice, Yes. In the apricot forest, that impartial judge Shan Zhengai said that there were letters written by the leading Big Brother hidden in his house. His whole family was then burned to the ground. Oh, when thinking about this matter, I'm very scared. She slightly shivered and leaned on one side of Xiao Feng. Xiao Feng said, This man is extremely cruel and merciless. People like him are rare in the world. Zhao Qiansun would rather lose all reputation than reveal his identity, and Shan Zheng was also on friendly terms with him. Who could have expected that he would murder these two people? There wasn't any such formidable person in the apricot forest that evening, was there? After pondering for a long time, he continued, There's another matter that I find strange. What is it? Xiao Feng looked at a sailboat on the river and said, This prime villain's intelligence and planning skills are better than mine in all respects. In terms of martial arts, it seems he's not below me either. If he wants to take my life, I'm afraid he wouldn't have any difficulties. Why does he need to be afraid that I'll find out who my enemy is like this? Great Master Chow, you're just too modest. Even though that prime villain is formidable, he's in fact extremely afraid of you. I guess in these days he's been shaking with the fear that you'll find out who he is. Otherwise, he wouldn't have to murder those two... Otherwise, he wouldn't have to murder the two old masters Qiao, Xuanku Daishu, Qiao Qiansun, Granny Tan, and the whole family of the impartial judge. Xiao Feng nodded and said, That may be true as well. He then smiled at her and said, As he doesn't dare to come attack me, he certainly wouldn't dare to approach you. So you don't need to be afraid. After a long while, he sighed and said, This person is really good at scheming. It's a shame that I, Xiao Feng, am called a hero when I've been a toy in other people's hands without any power to strike back. After crossing Changjiang River, or the Yangtze River, one day they crossed Qiantang River and arrived in Tiantai County seat. Xiao Feng and Aju rested at an inn for one night. In the morning of the next day, just as they wanted to ask people in the inn about the way to go to Mount Tiantai, the innkeeper hurriedly came in, saying, Great Master Qiao, a master from Jiguang Temple on Mount Tiantai comes to pay you a visit. Oh. Xiao Feng was frightened because when checking in, he had conveniently said that his surname had been Guan. So he asked, Why do you call me Great Master Qiao? The master from Jiguan Temple told me about Great Master Qiao's appearance. There's not the least bit of inaccuracy. Xiao Feng and Aju looked at each other, and both of them were amazed. They had already disguised themselves. Moreover, they looked rather different as compared to when they had been in Taiyan, Shandong. Yet, unexpectedly, as soon as they arrived in Tiantai, they were recognized by other people. Xiao Feng said, Okay, invite him to come here. The innkeeper turned around and went out. Before long, he conducted back a short and stout monk who was about 30 years of age. The monk put his palms together to Qiao Feng in salute and said, "My master Qi Guang has ordered my little self, Po Zhi, to invite great Master Qiao and Miss Ron to visit our humble temple." Seeing that the monk even knew Aju's surname was Ron, Qiao Feng was more astonished, so he asked, How could you know my surname, master?" Monk Po Zhi said, "My master told me that there are a hero surnamed Qiao and a lady surnamed Ron staying at Qingai Inn in Tiantai County seat, and ordered my little self to welcome and conduct you up the mountain. This is great Master Qiao. Where is Miss Ron, then?" Aju had disguised herself as a middle-aged man, therefore Monk Po Zhi was unable to recognize her, and thought that Miss Ron was not here. Qiao Feng asked again, We arrived here yesterday evening. How could your honorable master know about it? How could it be that he really has divination skills?" When Po Zhi had not yet replied, the innkeeper interposed. "The old divine monk at Qiguang Temple has great magical powers. Just by performing a quick calculation on his fingers, he already knew that great Master Qiao was gonna come. Needless to say, he can clearly see what is going to happen in a day or two. The old master can predict even the matters of 500 years later, with the accuracy as high as 60 or 70% as well." Qiao Feng knew that Ji Guang Daishu had a resounding reputation, and the ordinary and ignorant people worshipped him. Hence he did not talk much, saying, "Miss Ron will come later. Please take the two of us to your honorable master so that we can pay our respects to him." Monk Po Zhi said yes. When Qiao Feng wanted to pay for the bill for the room and the food, the innkeeper hastily said, "Great master, you're a guest of the Qiguang Temple. It's a great honor for us to have you in this small inn. No matter what, we don't dare to accept these several qian of silver for the rent and the food." Qiao Feng said, "We thank you for your hospitality then." Inwardly he thought, "Monk Ji Guang is kind to the people, so I've written off the grudge concerning his murders of my parents. I only hope he'll agree to reveal the identities of the leading big brother and the prime villain. Then I'll be perfectly satisfied." Without losing any time, he followed Po Zhi to come out of the county seat and go towards Mount Tiantai. Mount Tiantai had a beautiful and tranquil landscape, but the mountain paths were rather steep, rugged, and hard to go along. According to legend, during the Han Dynasty, Liu Chen and Ron Zhao went into Mount Tiantai by accident and met celestial maidens. Thus it was clear that the landscape here had to be extremely beautiful, but the mountain paths were winding and tortuous, and very hard to recognize. Going behind Monk Po Zhi, Qiao Feng saw that his footwork was very good, but he obviously did not know martial arts. However, in spite of that, Qiao Feng did not loosen up his caution at all, thinking, "The opponents already know it's me. How can they not be strict? How can they not be on strict guard? Even though Monk Ji Guang is a person of high virtue, other people may not think the same as him." Unexpectedly, he had a pleasant and uneventful journey to Ji Guan Temple. Among the cloisters on Mount Tiantai, Guojing Temple was very famous in the world. In the Sui dynasty, Ji Zhi Daishu, an eminent monk, used to stay at this temple and made the Tiantai school of Buddhism greatly flourish. Hence, it had been an important place of Buddhism for the past several hundred years. However, in Wulin, Jiguang Temple had a more resounding name. At first sight, Qiao Feng noticed that it was merely a common small temple, and most of the plaster and the paint on the outside of the temple had already been peeled off. Had it not been for Monk Po Zhi's leading, had Qiao Feng and Aju come here by themselves, they would not have believed that this ordinary temple was the famous Jiguan Temple. Monk Po Zhi pushed the door of the temple open and said loudly, "Master, Great Master Qiao has arrived." There was the voice of Ji Guang saying, Honored guests from afar, this old monk is sorry for being late in welcoming you. As he finished, he walked to the door and put his palms together in salute. Before seeing Ji Guang, Qiao Feng had always been worried that the prime villain would go ahead of himself and kill the monk. Now seeing Ji Guang with his own eyes, Qiao Feng was at ease. Without delay, he and Aju removed their disguises and met the monk with their real faces. Qiao Feng made a deep bow and said, Dai Shi, I'm extremely sorry for disturbing your serene ascetic life. Ji Guang said, That's fine, that's fine. Chao Qiju, originally, your surname's Xiao. Did you know about it? Xiao Feng's body trembled. Even though he knew that he himself was a Khitan, he had never known the surname of his father. In this moment, hearing Ji Guang say that his surname was Xiao, he could not help having a cold sweat because he knew that his origin was becoming clear step by step. He immediately bowed, saying, My humble self is unfilial, so I come here to entreat Da Xu to advise me. Ji Guang nodded. So he's Xiao Feng, not Xiao Feng. Xiao. Ji Guang nodded and said, Pray, be seated. And I think we're going to stop here. Yeah, we're halfway through. Okay. So did you guys like the chapter? Get a drink. Whoa. Oh. All right, so it looks like there's someone killing all these people. Right? It seems like someone does not want to reveal the secret of who the leader of that expedition was. And this person has been killing all these people, killing whoever knows about whoever knows the identity of that dude. Okay. So luckily, this Ji Guang Daishu, this Ji Guang monk has not been killed yet. So hopefully we'll find out the identity of that guy from this monk. All right, cheers. Peepzilla, it's you? You're the one killing them? How dare you? How dare you? You're evil. Evil person. Alright guys. Hopefully next chapter we'll find out the identity of that guy. If not, then I don't know. When will we find out? I hope it's not too long. Okay. Thanks for joining. I love you, and I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.